May he... Ah, Source Hunter. I had so hoped to avoid meeting you here. But perhaps we were bound to face one another. Your kind have long interfered with mine. You must think me quite the villain, mustn't you? The things you've seen. Without the proper context, I can imagine it's all quite shocking. Horrific, even. And I suppose you must have pictured me, some bloodthirsty madwoman, intent on what, I wonder? Power? Gold? Chaos for its own wild sake? The truth is rather less simple than the imagination would conceive. Surely, the sight of a bit of blood doesn't turn your stomach, Source Hunter. No, I imagine you've become more than accustomed to such things. If only my dear Immaculates took the same approach to our great work. But it seems all too often that only the most vicious of them rise up to the required tasks. All the same, these deaths were necessary. Soon enough, the pain they suffered, and pain you have suffered, Source Hunter, will be washed away, cleansed. This is my promise to all of Rivellon. Death. I've nearly forgotten the meaning of the word, what it means to most. But I am no monster, Source Hunter. Like you, I have seen the living snatched so senselessly from this world, and I have mourned. But I have also discovered that weeping was senseless. Like infants, we squall, clinging to a day that is not ours to keep. Now that I know the truth, I am free. What you see as slaughter is in fact a dispassionate process. I take no more pleasure in this so-called destruction than a wave takes in the flood. What I do, you know as well as I, the enlightening capacity of these stones, Source Hunter. I've heard tell that you've been zapping the life from precious star stones, and that you are bolstered by the power within them. Your experiences are unique in all of Rivellon's history, but you are hardly the only player in this story. As Starstone enlightens you, its child, Bloodstone, enlightens something of my own creation. Barbarism. Quite a chauvinistic term to apply to something one hardly comprehends, isn't it? But I will concede, the power I intend to bring to bear upon Rivellon is no more divine than your boot. We are free agents, Source Hunter, all of us, and we owe no higher power our blood or our flesh. I have posed as a priest in service of a truth greater than any goddess could hope to be. So you have seen it? Yes, it's as I thought. You and I have more in common than you think. You know as well as I that the void is coming. In fact, if I'm very precise, it's already here. But you needn't be afraid. The void is ourselves. We are destined to rejoin it. Tut-tut, Source Hunter. You and I both know I could hardly trust you with such information. Though if you continue stomping around in my wake, you're sure to understand soon enough. And here I believed I was starting to reach you. My foolish optimism bears yet another disappointment. But I do believe we agree on one particular point, Source Hunter. This does indeed end now.
Enlightened ones, your ultimate call, your ultimate purpose. Heed the void's call. Offer your souls to the demons that beckon you.
Charming of Astarte to send her scouts upon me, but no matter. The Bloodstone is mine, and the witch cannot be saved.
position! These toxins cannot be denied.
Starstone, another piece of ourselves perverted towards Leandra's will. Nothing Leandra might do could shake our identities. We are source hunters. Our job is to destroy that which would harm Rivellon.
I feel a great sorrow for the Red Woman. She seems to seek right doing, but her means are bloody and terrible. When she realizes her mistakes, her suffering will be great. I very much hope for this. In her heart is a cold season, blinding as snow. But perhaps this season, like the others, will peak and then give way to another.
Conclusively proven, Source Hunter. The Immaculates are nothing more than vile servants of demons. They must perish to a man. We must show no mercy. Be they any exponent of human nature, man or woman, fair or foul, sweet or savage. They must all be put to the sword without exception. Blood begets blood. Demons beget death. Great relief to me indeed to know we steer the same course. Mercy doesn't misguide you, Hunter, and a good thing that is too. For what happens to the clement predator? It starves. No, better to steer my straightforward course, the course of the sword aimed at the heart of all that is demon-aligned.
Getting too cold to concentrate.
Thank the gods for our trusty shovel. The hatch!
May it lead us to the prison like we were told.
The flesh from your bones.
What trickery is this? It vanished.
Wolgroth
And
blocks your
yet-
path and hands you a note. Beware! Mine one doesn't.
Looks like we found the prison, all right. The White Witch must be around here somewhere.
If she hasn't been tortured to death in this hellhole. Bless the Seven, I am restored.
All right, mate? Yeah? I'm Tyler, mate. What's your name, Sunshine? Ain't Rat Killer, is he?
Remain. How terribly am I cursed, cursed to crave the fires of desire, but forever unable to feel the lick of its flames, the thrust of its blaze. How many times have red-blooded men been invited to penetrate me, dragged into my embrace, kicking and screaming? But it is not I who is ecstatically pierced, it is them. I do not draw from them that which is meant to give life, no, their life's blood instead. I am the thousand-robed celibate, the virgin of steel chastised with chastity everlasting. I do not know. The first time a helpless victim was forced into my many-thorned frame, and he wet me utterly with his blood, I suddenly sprung to life. Boreas says it is because of the stone my head is carved from, a stone from the stars. Its sanguine tastes animate my spirit and my lust.
Sigurd's beard, what a find!
Careful, comrade. I think I sense.
I pity her, this Iron Maiden. Or rather, the girl's spirit trapped within. Her predicament is clearly demon-made. Nothing else could delight so much in the kindling of desires again and again, only to withhold them each time anew. If there is any way we can put her out of her misery, we should. For it is better to die than be enthralled by demon curses. You have an astute mind, Hunter. One that meanders through the marshlands of mundane morality with refreshing abandon. Many hold life to be a sacred thing, or worse, a god's gift over which only those self-same gods may preside. But life is neither God's given nor sacred. And when it is dragged into the dust by demons, our duty is to end it without a moment's pause.
There must be a way out of here. There must be a way home. I have no idea what's going on. One minute I'm out on a jog with my dog Rocky, and the next I'm headfirst in the snow with snowmen all around me. And they're talking and poking me and demanding to know which source lord I serve. And I'm just a normal guy. I'm not crazy, am I? Hell if I know. All I did was ask for a phone, and these monsters threw me in this dungeon. They asked so many questions, but I had no idea what any of it meant. And this place, it isn't normal. The snow talks. There are magic wands, and little red people, and talking animals, and no toilets. It's full of dead bodies and vermin, and the snow people seem to be in charge. God, what I wouldn't give for a drink. Well, it'd be pretty fantastic if I knew what the hell were happening. Where I am, what I'm doing here. I've got a life, you know, a house, a car, friends, and a family waiting for me. Isn't there a single phone in this damn place? I'd settle for a telegraph at this rate. What? No, I'm not crazy. Please, you must believe me. I don't belong here. You hear me? I don't belong here.
Fortune!
Damnation! Not even a crack!
Source Hunter, you have found us. Here she is at last. Ikara. Oh, but look at her. She has been encased in ice so unyielding that none of my spells melt even a fraction of its surface. You find me at a loss. I admit it. For I've no idea what sorcery, or dare I say it, sorcery will set her free. Like I said, so far my attempts at rescuing her have been about as effective as trapping a robin's shadow. No. I believe that if we want to free Ikara, we'll have to find the one who imprisoned her in the first place. This frost-touched magic isn't Leandra's doing. It has Boreas written all over it. The Winter King did this to her. So the Winter King's the key.
There she is. The White Witch. A prisoner in ice.
The Winter King
I
has
wonder what
woven
sorcery,
ice too
or worse,
rare and powerful
sorcery,
for mere fire.
we'll have to use to get her out.
I don't know how long she'll last within that ice. There must be a way. I've tried my very...
Poison dart!
Stave of the elements.
Once my arrow tastes blood, it craves more!
Into the spine.
Face the unending darkness.
That force field looks impassable.
Nothing stops a source hunter. We'll find a way yet.
The force field brims with 1,000 distant voices. They seem to be expecting some kind of incantation. 1,000 sniggers resound, but nothing further happens.
With this incantation, we can pass the force field that bars the way into the castle.
High time for an audience with King Boreas, I say.
The force field brims with the voices sound pleased, then grow.
Upstart that seeketh to upset the harmony of Heimerheim. Why hast thou ventured here, Avatar of Man? Why dost thou seek the downfall of Lord, nay, King Boreas, Sovereign of Winter? So thou seeketh but another human, a worm of no import. But though thou tramplest through my realm and besiegest my fortress, thou shalt not have her! Fairy, I have marcheth to the gallows, Heimerheim drawn forth from freeze and frost. How they mocketh me, my brother seasons! Thou art the ugliest courter, they saith to my frozen face. Thou art the blemish of the year, fool that thou art, my brothers! Winter is the jewel of the seasons, and now it is the ruler of time and Heim! Heimerheim! 'Tis easy when thou hast but to wish upon a well, and the generous pit delivereth unto thee the power of chaos. It doth whisper, the demon straight into my wintry wit, and a woman he sendeth forth into the fields of Fairy. The stone of stars, no more doth she ask of me. The stone and blood of imps. In return she giveth unto me this staff, my siblings enslaved within. Strong are they, these immaculates, stronger than thee. For thy wield the powers of darkest demons. And stronger than thee I am too. The lord of all the seasons, the ruler of all the elements, the one king of eternal winter!
Let's see you try to wrangle free!
target. No glory in this death.
Lucky find!
The seven grants abundance!
Ho, hero. 'Tis I, the Summer King. Wholly do I... Hey, quit shoving. Knock it off, will you? I'm trying to... Excuse me. Out of the way. It's Lurian's turn. Well, I thought the day would never come. Thanks for giving old Carrot Face the great melt. We and the Earth Kingdom owe you a tremendous... What? Well, you'll have to wait your turn. Oh, for the love of all that's igneous, go ahead then, if it'll stop your owling. I'll answer that. We are the sovereigns of the seasons, kind hero. And we thank you for saving us from our rather deranged brother, the one-time king of winter. I am Sua of the Sun Kingdom. These are my siblings, Semista of spring and Larian of autumn. We overheard a crafty little imp named Gigix tell Boreas that the staff can only be destroyed where it was created, the elemental forge. He seemed to imply that the forge was somewhere in Hyverheim itself, but I know not its exact location. Better the crackle of embers than this idiotic blustering. Cover your ears, hero! Nothing whips up a flame like a wild wind! The elemental forge, hero. It's the only way.
Dancing devil sprats, comrade. A talking staff. Burn it before its sauce tendrils start leaching your eye jelly.
Yes, yes. Please smash that evil piece of craftsmanship before I end up pregnant with source homunculi.
Sister, we are free! And who is this? Can it be that a frail mortal human faced and bested our own scheming Boreas? Ah, but this is no mortal, I see. Strange you take the guise of a source hunter. But I shall of course honor your chosen form. Indeed, I suppose I should have expected that one of your kind would snare our brother sooner or later. Boreas always did dance uncomfortably close to the dark arts. But I suppose the others of we elemental monarchs thought it better not to interfere in the affairs of his realm. No, like fools, we waited for his pride. His hunger for more and ever more power, to pull us from our own seats of safety and into his sordid storm. We, and with us all the subjects of the realm of Fairy, do owe you our lives, Source Hunter. If, no, not if, but when, we might be of assistance to you in this dimension, you must call upon me personally. I am King Sua of the Summit Kingdom of Calvia. brother, alongside the other elemental monarchs, to the unfortunate and insane Boreas. In earlier days, we ruled the 4 realms of Fairy in relative peace, each of us the master of our own kingdom. But something changed in Boreas. He grew darker somehow, more than was typical of his usual melancholy. We worried, yes, but chose not to intervene. Boreas was the lord of Hyperheim, and it was his right to rule it as he pleased. When our brother called the elemental seats to convene in Hyperheim, we were ecstatic. Boreas seemed again interested in the joint rule of Fairy, in upholding the long-established diplomacy of our lands. When we arrived, however, it was not Boreas who greeted us, but a dark figure. A woman with a stare like blackest fire. In her staff she held a demonic power, the likes of which I've never felt. And I listened closely when I could to Boreas' doings. From what I could tell, it seems this woman had little contact with our deranged brother after the initial exchange of the staff. From what I could tell, the arrangement was thus. She gave him us, contained, and in return he gave her access to his great star stone, and scores of imps he'd invited to Hyperheim. After that, the two parted, and I heard little more of the woman. In his fits of madness, Boreas would sometimes bellow abuse about the demon woman. I can only assume he meant the same who trapped us. Source Hunter, it would be my sincerest honor. Take this rune, and use it to summon me when you're near the witch once more. If she can be extracted from Boreas' ice, I'll find a way to make it so. We best be on our way then. The spring and autumn kingdoms will rule themselves, you know. May our paths cross soon, Source Hunter.
I've tried my very best. And sewer, you say? But that is wonderful. My faith in you as ever well placed. At your leisure, Source Hunter. Though for Akara's sake, we ought not to dilly-dally too long.
There she is. The White Witch. A prisoner in ice.
I wonder what sorcery...
This is your White Witch, then. And you're sure you want to free her, are you? Even our mad Boreas wouldn't have wasted such precious ice on a petty criminal. Whatever she did to find herself here must have been rather severe indeed. But I am in your debt, and I would be remiss not to honor your request. Shield your eyes, Source Hunter. To melt ice of this refinement, I'll need to summon an equally rare flame.
Gods, it's colder than a witch's teat. How very callous of Leandra to entower her only sister in a barren tundra for eternity.
Ikara, you're all right? The ice, King Boreas, and your sister. What a frigid hell you've endured.
And yet not even a frigid hell like this could induce you to put on a shirt, could it, Ahu? My old friend, surely I have you to thank for my salvation.
That honor goes to a pair of talented source hunters, actually. If not for their efforts, I'd be quite uselessly prowling around your prison still.
Then perhaps I ought to address my savior directly.
Source Hunter, is that the masquerade? Well, what a motley crew we are. Isn't there somewhere a bit warmer we might discuss matters? Ah, yes, of course, of course. Do pardon me. I didn't mean to imply you were very clearly eternal beings in the guise of minor mortals. Not at all. Please, let's do carry on. Oh, yes, I suppose I am. But I do prefer my given name. Ikara, that is. Charmed. But I hope I haven't disappointed my own hero. Am I just as white and witchy as you'd hoped? First things first, Source Hunter. For my freedom, I owe you every imaginable thanks. My soul had withered in this prison, and I might not have survived much longer without your help. Now, about the culprits. My corrupted sister and the mad Winter King. When I realized exactly where, and to whom Leandra was consigning me, I was certain I'd never enjoy the sun's warmth again. But neither she nor I anticipated the Source Hunter. That was her mistake, and my blessing. I never would have imagined Leandra capable of dealing with the likes of Boreas, but she has changed into someone I hardly recognize anymore. My own little sister, if you can imagine it. She was always the more ambitious, the more exacting of us, and she had no fear of the darkness that so often accompanies Source. Her collusion with King Boreas in imprisoning me here confirms my worst fears. She is planning something far greater than I could have anticipated. For this reason, and with a heavy heart, I must ask you, Source Hunter, to find out how far exactly Leandra has become entwined in the dark arts. I take no pleasure in the memory of that night. The thought of hurting anyone or anything is abhorrent to me. But in this case, I judged it necessary. If you've come this far, I trust you've learned that the Counselor was far from a humble civil servant. This doesn't excuse my behavior, but perhaps it can help to explain it. It's a sordid story, to be perfectly frank. Two sisters, a philanderous, treacherous wizard, death and mayhem. Are you sure you're interested in such things? The sparkle in your eye belies your better nature, Source Hunter. Now I know that it is your duty to get to the heart of this. And, in truth, the events of that night were but one part of a larger and much darker matter. A matter in which I'll dare to beg your assistance before we're through with one another. Now that terrible night. One night, as I slept, I had a sudden revelation. No dream, but a vision. My sister Leandra and my lover Zandalor. I didn't understand, but I recognized their location. Syceel's King Crab Inn. I arrived and looked through their window, but inside, everything was wrong. Leandra had fled, and Counselor Jake stood over the wizard, a knife in his hand and hate in his eyes. As I watched, he drove the dagger deep into Zandalor's heart, and I was too late to stop him. In that moment, I broke. I saw before me not a man, not even a beast, but evil incarnate. And I used Source to slay him. On the floor lay Zandalor. In my hands, I held Jake's life force. I had sworn never to use Source, but I couldn't walk away. And so I did the unthinkable. I used the Counselor's life to save Zandalor's. He was alive, but only just. Betrayal. Murder. Source. We were all of us guilty now. If you were any other Source Hunter, I suppose you'd strike me down where I stand after that terrible admission. Fortunately for us both, You are no other, Source Hunter. I hate to extend my own invitation, Source Hunter, but I believe I ought to accompany you to Zigzax's hideout. Presumptuous, yes, but I'd recognize the imp's essence just about anywhere. Both he and you must learn more about the darkness that has extended itself into our dearest Rivellon. And I believe I know where we must begin. Ah, but unless that's a bear flailing through the threads of time, I do believe Master Zigzax is on his way. Make way, Source Hunter, landing in 3, 2...
Hunters, you've done it! Ikara is free! Ah, what good it does my impish heart to see her safe and bright as ever! We have much to discuss. Come one and all to the end of time. A spot of something warm and the soft glow of the tapestry ought to do us all a bit of good, Ikara, now, if we're done playing hide and seek, let's not waste a jot more time. Oh, I just can't wait to pick your every synapse.
After you, Master Zigzax.
So that's the White Witch, eh? I expected someone a little more evil. I can't say I'd cut her down for mistake, but she sure has fewer horns than I expected.
Oh, if only Jarrett were here to meet her. He would have loved to lay eyes on the White Witch of so many legends.
We've solved the murder and caught the culprit, yet this case feels anything but closed. We'll have to learn more before we can assess Ikara's true guilt in this matter. Fortunately, she seems quite eager to tell us more about this entire dark affair.
How might I serve our mission? Leandra. She designs to be Mother of the Void, but you have the power to undo her born-in-blood litter. Though they be baptized in blood, you can... The tapestry of time has not been struck by flaming debris.
Well, I see Master Zigzax has upgraded from his shabby little hut at the edge of the hour, from the fairy dimension to the, Space-Time Weaver Hunter Imp one. What do you call this place again? Ha! Is that so? It seems I have my share to learn about the magical world yet. The end of time. Well, suddenly your association with Master Zigzax makes sense. Well, I must say, it's no small relief to find myself in a safe haven among such allies. I believe the answer to that begins centuries ago, when your order was still cutting down so-called dark magicians by the dozens. Ours was a family of born sorcerers, you see. It was in our blood to interact with Source, but our parents were determined to curb the power within us. Still, their meekness wouldn't save them from the Source Hunters. I am, but there is more to our kind than they teach at your academy. Source isn't only blood and madness. It's like lightning, an exquisite current of great power. We sorcerers are like metal steeples. Source is drawn to us and it flows through us. But what so many fail to understand is that Source can be controlled. The power drunk through history have abused it, and all the world's sorcerers have borne terrible consequences. Tell me, Source Hunter, in all your hours studying the arcane arts, did your great masters ever suggest that perhaps not all sorcerers were evil? Did you ever hear, even once, that some of us were weak and gentle? That we could be simple forest folk healing the sick and frozen each winter? No. I doubt also that they'd mention that one day this hunt of yours would birth a broken soul powerful enough to inch all of Rivellon toward oblivion. No, that would be going too far and eschewing my own responsibility. I believe Leandra's long fall down did begin at the hands of... They came in a quiet morning. My mother was wild with... We climbed the source hunters, so from that moment on, we would survive. Leandra's my sister and I were Leandra, their days, we were a content, as you know, but it was her heart, my connection to her. We've a single order of business, but first, we must learn more about... Your journey must begin in the Lacula. A soul forge comes with its own benefit. One vision, her frustrations are rivaled. I believe that our soul forge has been damaged. By what? What she needs is a hand. My hand.
Mines. We made it. I wonder what we'll find in here besides Immaculates.
Why don't you be my canary and go find out?
Psst. Over here. Come over here quickly, but be as quiet as a man.
I can't believe it. I never thought I'd see another human face uncorrupted by immaculate madness. I hid when I heard your voice, but you don't look like the lunatics here that slave the dead. Will I escape this infernal pit after all? Will I escape the dreaded Hell Lords? I'm Mykas, a craftsman from Hunter's Edge, a village some miles to the east of here. Orcs raided our town and sold us to the goblins as slaves. Little did we know that they were to pass us on to the remorseless necromancers here in the mines. Yeah, you heard me right. Necromancers. My family, my friends, they were all turned into undead slaves by those most deviant of sorcerers and forced to unearth Tenebrium. I managed to escape in the darkness of the tunnels and was just about to head for the daylight when I heard you approach. Because of the Tenebrium, of course. That stuff will give you rot right quickly, and after that, rot will kill you right slowly. But if you're naught but a skeleton with a pickaxe, what then? Rot can't touch you, can it? So that's what they do, the vile maniacs. They procure people, slaughter them, and wrench their souls back from the shores of death to mine the days away. I don't even know why they do it. Tenebrium, it blights all that it touches. Good for nothing is what it is. The worst. I can't imagine a crueler death. They say some genius up in Silverglen first hired the goblins to clear away Tenebrium when his miners started to fall ill. Them nasty critters are immune to its contagion, they said. What nonsense. The goblins aren't immune at all. They just wanted to take possession of the mine. Their chief, a sickening brute called Sadakandras, simply forced everyone out. Those who put up a struggle were speared and sacrificed to goblin totems. Then, away from prying eyes, the Immaculates moved in, and the undead horror began. Those fools of goblins don't even realise they're no more than cogs in the Immaculate machine. Why, I've even seen a number of them held as prisoners just a corridor away. Soon there'll be no more than skeletal slaves. You make it sound like a carnival dropped by. Carnage, more like. Mayhem and death. That's what the orcs spread. To think we thought ourselves lucky they didn't eat us all on the spot, but rounded us up to be sold into slavery. We escaped certain death only to face certain deathlessness. Talk about your rock and a hard place. By the seven, I don't know. Never have I seen anything like them. They're creatures dressed in knight's armour that's black as coal. The very ground trembles when they approach, and their eyes shine with demon mania. To even think about them is to struggle with almost irrepressible panic. What about them? I'm afraid I've been navigating these mine shafts rather like a fish out of water. All I can do is advise you to leave and don't look back. But if you're determined to push on, be warned that a handful of Immaculates is the least of your worries. The necromancers weave powerful magic, and as I fled, I nearly ran into one of the Hell Lords. Had it seen me, had I met its eyes, I know I'd have gone mad. I looked away and ran as fast as I could. Only darkness awaits you here, the dark and the dead. Indeed, bunch of loons.
I haven't the foggiest what their plans are, but it has nothing to do with mining for silver, and that's a goddamn certainty. Them and their goddess-lording ways seem to have taken hold in Silverglen. But I bet the people there have no idea what the boys high up, or should I say down low in the mines, are really plotting. Curse their ignorance and curse their gullibility. Immaculates, the real ones I mean, the ones in power, they are setting something in motion that I hope to be far, far away from when that something finally rears its head. As will I. It's just that I'm torn. Should I hang low right here just a little bit longer, or should I make a run for it? What do you think?
I concur. Run while you can.
Yeah, you're right. Better make a dash for it while I've still got a chance. But wait a moment. Who's that you've got with you? Medora, is that you? Found another group of dupes to betray, have you? But can it really be you? Something's different.
Yes, you've got the wrong woman indeed.
Well, count your lucky moons you haven't found yourself making trails with that coward. She's the reason we lost everything in Hunter's Edge. She, who was sworn to protect us, practically rolled out the welcome mat for the orcs who savaged us. In any case, as you said, now's the time for me to escape. Good riddance to this god's-forsaken place.
Look at all these skeletons just chipping away at the rock perpetually.
With that same 1,000-yard stare you get when trying to do
Dear gods. So this is what's become of the villagers. This is their fate.
Lads, escaped slaves from the look of them. Been scrounging weapons from our fallen comrades, have you rotters? Well, you can have them for all I care. Just beat it before you leave the night-nights to us. This here is our hiding spot. Nice try, you filthy serf. But I know an immaculate when I see one, and you ain't one of them. Adam, lads!
I feel better already.
It's the unending darkness.
as fresh apple pie.
Is its own deliverance!
Back on my feet again. These undead are completely unresponsive. I smell foul magic.
I reckon you're right.
Prepare yourselves, brothers! It has found us! But no, you are not the armored death. You we can slice, dice, and feed to the idol of oblivion. Join forces.
toxins cannot be denied.
The spell is broken!
I feel better already.
You broke the necromancer's spells. I am free. I hail from Hunter's Edge. Boys came. They pillaged, enslaved me. To the goblins I was given. Then came the knife. The knife and spells of necromancers. They took my life. They took my flesh. For tenebrium, for sauce, we died and lived again. We do not go where she goes. The conduit, the one before whom every immaculate bows in reverence. If you want to go where we don't go, where she goes, then whisper the word. She whispers. Sadakandris. Sadakandris is the key. Goodbye, oh,
That skeleton believed its soul would live on in the Hall of Echoes. Indeed. Perhaps we'll meet these souls again when we move on to the Hall of Echoes ourselves.
This I've spotted.
From New Earth and the cluster of Divinity crystals. It looks like someone buried something there.
The massive gate bars the heavy door doesn't give. The room grows warmer. As you speak, low and...
Meetings are becoming something of a habit, Source Hunter. I believe that theory of mine holds water, after all. Do you feel it? The links between us growing stronger. It's as though we stand at opposite ends of history, and the space between is rapidly falling away. But you're not alone, are you? No. Who else have we lurking about the place? I'd like to have a word with you all at once. Why? The same reason anyone would care to create a soldier so powerful that none could defeat it. A war is coming, Source Hunter. The final war. My preparations are already bearing fruit, and soon enough the first strike will fall. The end will come swiftly, painlessly, like an executioner's blade upon the neck. Only those who squirm will feel it. Those first knights were mere prototypes. Powerful, yes, but not imbued with half the power of mine. They've been cast in such terrible terms. Death Knight, Dread Lord, Blood Devil. In fact, as I bring them to life, I see only angels of mercy.
My knights are growing in number and strength, forged of tenebrium, born of blood stone, they will march Rivellon toward her ultimate fate.
Very good, Source Hunter. While you've been using Starstones to leap through portals on your shelter plane, I've been using Bloodstones to craft a reality of my own here in Rivellon. These are my children, you see. Born not only of the blood of the sacrificed, but of my own blood as well. Thus imbued, my knights will march where I ask them to march. How far is it from here to your shelter plane, incidentally? Perhaps as close as the zap of a special stone, from what I've heard. Ha! I assure you, nothing I've done requires forgiveness. Nor anything you've done, Source Hunter. You may be loath to admit it, but I believe our approach to certain uncomfortable matters is similar. Blood spills at my behest, if and only if it serves the greater purpose. Let me paint you a picture, Source Hunter. Imagine a world without war, without death, without sorrow, fear, or struggle. A world in which all of us, humans and orcs, imps and goblins, demons and gods, are as one, separated neither by body nor by soul. It will be done, Source Hunter. That will be our new world, our new reality. The Void has been inching toward Rivellon for eons, eager to reunite us in the single awareness that once was. It is a beautiful purpose. The greatest that has or ever will be. Still, you misunderstand me, Source Hunter. I crave no cries of terror, only peaceful silence. My army is nearly ready. Since you've come so far, perhaps you'd like to see the culmination of my Immaculate's efforts. Maybe then you'll understand the fruitlessness of this war you're waging. Become your grave. A prettier casket I can't give you.
Without a way to make them vulnerable, we stand no chance against these monstrosities.
We can't fight them, but perhaps we can outrun them.
When mirrors wing, where you'll land's for you to choose. A hurried choice is never wisest. Considerations will behoove you. The library, you say? Hurrah! Countless books within your reach. What will you learn? What will they teach? The library, you say? Hurrah!
From the looks of it, we're still in the underground temple.
Then we're not out of the woods yet.
I wish it was the woods we were in.
heart does leap. To the crypt I'm glad to bring you, or the High Priest's office. Away, away.
Well, what's this
I've spotted something interesting.
Woolbra spotted something.
Goddess, greetings, wanderer. What brings you to this house of the goddess during these troubled times? A what? No, certainly not. I serve Astarte, our great goddess. A bishop of the source am I, in life and in death. I ought to box your ears and tie your black tongue. A source hunter, you say? And what does your mission entail exactly? Chasing down the ill and wounded, healed by source and executing them? That's impossible, absurd. Our Astarte is the great bringer of light, of order, of healing. No, I don't know what strange land you are from, wanderer, or why you've come to her temple to spread such lies and gossip, but I think it best if you take your blasphemy elsewhere. The goddess's home, of course. Her house of worship. Here she'll return when she's finished her great work. Yes, when she returns, she'll rejoin her beloved and loving flock here in this very temple.
You want to fly? You want to wing? Just say the away, away. Choice is never wisest. Away, away! Traveler, my heart does leap away, away!
Of serenity in the midst of such chaos.
This room must be woven with powerful protective magic.
You call to Woolbra.
Scepter of Command? What do you think it's for?
From the look of these blueprints, it's got something to do with Death Knights. Perhaps there's a way to handle them yet.
Leandra's web weaves wider than I could have imagined.
This is no rogue witch. This is a conspiracy.
Remarkable. With this spell and the so-called blood of the Mother, those Death Knights will be at our mercy.
Leandra won't stand a chance. This could all be over sooner than we'd thought.
Now this is valuable.
Soldier burning bright, where will you go? What will you see? The gold within cannot be reached. Prepare to bask beneath.
This last starstone you discovered has given the Weaver just what she needed to mend another portion of the tapestry. Another tantalizing tidbit of long-lost history awaits us. Another piece of your story is ours to discover. Oh, how very thrilling.
For millennia, the God Box was flanked by the two devoted guardians. But Astarte's playmate, a creature called the Trife, turned her attention to the forbidden box. I may know a way to destroy what's inside, hissed the scheming creature. Together, we can set the Guardians free. Open its lid, Astarte, and we can have a look together. Astarte trusted her friend and assented. She pitied the Guardians and welcomed a chance to free them. Let me help you, she whispered into the ear of one. I know your duty, but you both deserve a chance at freedom. Haven't you suffered enough of this chore? She asked the other. Look, your companion is free already. The Guardians, unaccustomed to such attention, started. She had planted a seed of curiosity within them, rekindled a desire that had, for eons, lain dormant. Slowly, they glanced at one another, and the Trife's trap was sprung.
Has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Have you seen my magic box? It's got all kinds of
We were
wonders.
seduced then, tricked into neglecting our duty for the briefest of moments. True enough, we seem to be quite blameless for whatever may have transpired in the aftermath.
Source Hunter, I have heard the tale of Prontua, a mortal who promised the god she would always fetch their water. She was driven mad by the unchanging task far before the god's thirst was quenched. Do you not find it strange that the gods would allow mortals to volunteer for such responsibilities? seems humanity is very free. Free even from the judgment of the gods. Free to find greatness and failure both. There are worse fates, I think.
I salute you, my master. Other elementals lie in wait until with a word you command them to action. Which one of them, pray, has your preference? And that is your final choice?
Yes, indeed.
Thy will be done.
Say, have you seen my magic box?
Rocks and forest. This is a plane worthy of an earth elemental, all right.
A kernel of serenity.
Dearest guardians, how I rejoice at the sight of your growth, both in power and in prowess. And yet I cannot help but wonder, will it ever be enough? Will you craft yourselves once more into the warriors that you were? Oh, in the end, you are like infants still. Infants that would perish with a broken wail had they not their mother's milk to suckle. But you always were like children, weren't you? As are we all in the eyes of the gods. And yet they set an impossible task before you, then blamed you when you failed. How foolish even the divines can be, how lacking in compassion.
I do feel like a child, being kept in the dark about so many things.
I guess we'll have to find more Starstone and grow up.
The spirit of Father Nature came to me in a dream last night, and he told me to welcome you. Can't you tell? I'm the universe, you're the universe, we're all the universe. It's a beautiful thing, to be sure. I noticed you were bringing this place in close contact with the spirit of nature, and I thought to myself, that's where I belong. Thanks for putting me up. May the Earth's vibrations rock you gently.
So this tapestry represents all of time. I hope your quest fares well, dear hunter. Ah, yes, that was a small fib on my part, I'm afraid. Zandalore is known as the Keeper of the Source, after all. And I didn't know how Source hunters would react to my association with such a... And what might those be?
Oh, I could tell a joke or two.
By all means. I can't say much more, but that they're madmen. But certainly. What would you like to know?
I wonder how much of a spark it takes to zap a human.
Have you
to
seen my
bang-
magic box? It's got all kinds of wonders stashed inside.
How might I serve? In the except, it seems, threads I weave. She is, he is the thread I can clip. But how can this be now? Can the duty? I know he stood by you, the son of overcome. So you have. It was to tremble, you would shout. Her story is the story once upon a time, wherever they Moloch. I know not all you ask, and I shall answer, if I can.
What's the word, Source Hunter? You must venture into the inner sanctum of one of the sacred, immaculate temples in Lucula Forest. Leandra has hidden it well, but within its deepest depths you'll find a hidden library. What's inside I cannot say, but I know something of great value to her is kept within. The Immaculates are no invention of Leandra's, though styling herself as its so-called conduit is, I must say, rather clever. They were an ancient religious group, countless sorcerers among them numbering hundreds of thousands before the death of Brachus Rex and the abolishment of Source. Leandra's little cult has retaken this immaculate banner and repurposed the ancient immaculate temples after their own fashion. The temple you must find is particularly well hidden. You'll have to become an immaculate yourself in order to gain access to it. If the time comes that you must reveal yourself as imposters, you'll have many an impassioned foe to face. You'll know you've reached the right place when you meet the priest who calls himself Mangoth. He protects the blood. It is he who you must ultimately defeat.
That's a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
I have the last test.
This wonder of a realm, it's like a slum. Guardians, a moment of your time, if it... I have been pondering and brooding, deliberating and deducting, and I have come to the conclusion that I may well know who our true enemy is. Now, our foe is the Void, of course, the usurper of time and space. But more dangerous even than the great and all-consuming nothing are those who are bent on helping it here, or bent on helping it on Rivellon. I think he still lives. The one that set it all in motion. The one you've met here in the House of the Guardians. Yes, him. It. The one who does not look quite like he used to. The one that whispered deceit and desire into Astarte's ears. He is friend to the Void, and he seeks to give it dominion once and for all. That is who I think he is. As a writer, I'm going to have to disagree with you there, but even then, please don't be fooled, for he does much more than wag his tongue. What we see here, in what was once your house, is most certainly real, but the demon, Astarte, they are, so I believe, mere manifestations of their true selves. Oh, he dwells somewhere. He must. It is a creature of blood and bloodlust, of lies and stratagems. All this time he has been plotting, of that I assure you. If our enemy has a heart, he is the one that makes it beat. That is my theory.
Not as much as it wants. We won't fall for its tricks.
We shouldn't get overconfident.
Well,
there is more to that thing than meets the eye.
Who knows what wonder a witch...
Impressive. A smithy and an armory.
Just what the doctor ordered.
How good of you to drop by. She told me you had grown, you know. That simpleton of a girl. She felt the need to inform me of the fact, with that pathetic tinge of pride in her voice. As if I did not know. As if I hadn't been watching you. Like a vulture, a dying beast. I could have plucked out those dewy eyes of hers and thrown them into a frying pan like eggs. Have you ever seen the sunny side up staring back at you? I have, but enough of this small talk. Yes, I have been watching you, and my amusement has turned into aggravation. Yet still, I yearn for the moment you finally become powerful enough to realize the true depths of your failures. When you do, I'll be there, drawing circles in the skies, watching, waiting, ready to pounce.
We must be getting on his nerves. Excellent.
I'll never look at a fried egg in the same way ever again, though.
I always do prefer an audience when I give one of my history lessons. My friends, I see you found another starstone. Jolly good of you. But I haven't been exactly idle either, for I think I may have nearly figured out why Source became so terribly tainted. If Astarte is the goddess of the Source, and the void was contained in her very garden, might it stand to reason that it was in fact the void who turned Source into such a dark and terrible power? But the tapestry has been rewoven. Time has been restored. I must speculate no more, and instead we must see what new shred of our tale you've uncovered.
With the Guardians distracted, Astarte lifted the lid of the God Box. What she saw was nothingness. Astarte had called forth the Void Dragon, whose sole purpose was to undo all creation. Caught off guard and terrified, the Guardians, sworn protectors, fled. But Astarte stood firm. She grabbed hold of the dragon and hurled it and herself into the reaches of the void. Here she battled the dragon for all eternity. For his deception, the Trife was cast out of the first creation. He fell to Rivellon, a monstrous creature unworthy of the realm of the gods. Since that terrible day, Source has been tainted by the presence of the void. A once beautiful power has become corrupted, and those attempting to wield it often go mad in the process.
We may have been tricked into allowing Astarte to open the God Box, but we fled when faced with the void once more. To think that all this chaos was unleashed by our foolishness.
There's a seafaring atmosphere about this place.
And seafaring leads to the exotic, to trading.
Guardians. Oh, Guardians, I need you. Heed my plea in these void-filled hours. The dragon is overpowering me. Our enemies are battering the fragile gates of time. The skies are darkening, and the stars are being extinguished. You have to reach me. Star stones will pave the way. Find them, use them, empower them, and hurry. Please make haste.
Only Starstone can stay the Maelstrom now.
Alas, that the damnable stuff is hidden better than a leprechaun's pot of gold.
Step right up. Browse these fine goods from far-flung fairy worlds and local slums the same. Take your time, or don't. Time is meaningless after all. Oh, it seems like an eternity ago. Or was it 1,000 years from now? No. I was a simple market peddler on the cobbled streets of Alaroth. It was Master Sixax himself who passed one long, or possibly very short summer by teaching me both the art and science of rift hopping. And I've been trooping to and fro across space and time ever since. Good day, good customer.
Bloodstone, as powerful as it is sinister.
My friends, we come to it at last. All of the missing threads have been rewoven, and the canvas is clear for the first time in eons. The final mystery may at least reveal itself. The final thread of your memory may be restored. Let us watch.
The Guardians had failed. Source was tainted, the Void was loosed, and all that stood between Rivellon and annihilation was Astarte herself. Overcome by guilt, they hoped to undo their failure by undoing reality itself. And so, they ripped their threads from the tapestry of time, so becoming unknown to history and unknowing of themselves for all eternity. As their threads fell to Rivellon like shooting stars, they hardened into crystals the people called Starstones.
Aren't you going to leap through? Who knows what wonder awaits?
So the souls within us intentionally tore themselves from the tapestry of time. Duty is honor, and honor is duty. I can understand their not being able to live with having failed to protect the God Box.
Three out of 4 have already been reinstated, and now the last of the Elemental shall rejoin its illustrious masters. Glory be unto them, and glory be unto you.
I could tell a joke or two. Free on a good day.
This place is positively brimming with the surge of storm and lightning.
As good a place as any for an air elemental to set up shop.
Guardians, I ask of you, what are you doing? What good can come of your misguided actions? I have tried to warn you. I have tried to be your friend by pointing toward the one great truth that is the Void Dragon, and say, relent. For you have failed before, and you shall fail again. Why is it so difficult for you to accept that which is inevitable? All things must pass away, even time itself. Sit ye down, rest, be weary no longer. Acquiesce in the embrace of oblivion, in which there is nothing but the equality and the harmony of non-existence. A blessing awaits beyond the end of time. accept it, for it is yours to receive.
To be our friend, that word has truly lost all meaning.
A blessing awaits beyond the end of time. Death's blessing, yes, but no more.
Da-da-da, da-da-da, ow, da-da-da. Oh my. Hello. Forgive me, but you startled me. I guess my head was up in the clouds. Oh, me. Sorry. I was just thinking about what it would be like if humans ate with their noses instead of their mouths. Anyway, what were you asking? Oh, yes. I saw how breezy and blowy you'd made this place. I thought it'd be the perfect place to clear my head. But not to worry. I'll earn my keep. My stock of air spells will blow your socks off. Toodaloo!
How might I serve our mission? Threads I weave and tales I see. All will I tell. The smithy. Pardon my rather in its fine. The god box itself was made there. An object so strong it could contain the very void. They are merchants that know. Yes, their trade. Free are they to do so. As yet.
I wonder who awaits you, and do you have a moment, my friends, to indulge an old imp? I want you to know that I have been giving your history a lot of thought, for any historian worth his salt duly contemplates the events he records and researches. It is my solemn conclusion that you have been treated rather harshly, and that the harshest punishment of all was delivered unto you by your very own hands. For tell me true, what are humans worth, even if they ascend to the status of demigod, if they be void of all doubt, if they question unfailingly their duty? The demon abused a most primal emotion, and because of that, that emotion has been dubbed a weakness. Nay, I say, it is not. Indeed, it will save us yet, be it in the very last nick of time. So, chipper up, eh? Not like the near impending end of all is entirely your fault.
At least Zigzag seems to think we Guardians aren't utter failures. I couldn't agree more. In fact, I'd go so far as to say we didn't fail at all. That may have been the gods' conclusion, but it isn't mine.
A chapel. And a truly beautiful one at that.
I have the feeling it has long since been abandoned by the gods, though.
O Guardians, in whose hands rests the fate of all, I know he, the usurper, the instigator, has been trying to charm you like he once did us both before. Do not listen to him. Do not listen. For every sound he makes is another vocalization of deceit. And what is more, a ruse to mark his weakness. First he seems to mock you, then he seems to menace you, then he seems to mesmerize you. But all the while, what he really does is fear you. His desire has been long in the making. The freedom among the void that is his unfathomable dream. But I have stopped him once, and you can do so again. You have pieced yourselves back together, Guardians. You are greater now, perhaps. perhaps, than you ever were. The maw of the void is chomping with big black teeth. But there is still time to kill the beast. Rise up, guardians. Stand up. Come to me at the center of the maelstrom and stand by me.
No, our enemies fear us.
And well they should. We'll hit the void in the jaw yet, and put a halt to its ceaseless devouring of creation.
This tomb must enshrine a most honored soul.
Still, it seems almost lonesome among the gloom here, does it not?
By the sins of the seven, can it be? You, Guardian, and General before that. Has time erased all memory of me? It is I, Alessa, the General who stood by your side when the Void Dragon first plagued our world so very long ago. 3 of us faced our foe that day. Only 2 lived to tell the tale. You stared the Void straight in the eye and saw oblivion reflected back at you. You broke, panicked, and it took me the very depths of my magic to rally you once more. Rally you I did, but I was spent, and the dragon did not hesitate. Thus I perished in the jaws of the Void.
Indeed. We're sorry we failed you, Alessa. Praise be that you restored our courage.
There is nothing to be sorry about, Guardian. I did what had to be done, and after that, so did you. You did your duty and more. You gave up the rank of General to become something greater, something immortal. Guardian, protector of the God Box, protector of all creation. Oh, how terrible it must have been to be betrayed. To hear Astarte whisper, to falter ever so briefly and see the dragon rise anew.
It was a moment of weakness that we are paying for still. Long as the Void lives, all of existence remains under threat.
You shouldn't blame yourself. It would be an injustice to do so. You undertook a task, after all, that the Seven themselves should have presumed. And where are they now, these allegedly all-powerful gods? Cowering in a distant universe, no doubt. But you are here, ready to face your fear yet again. Destined, I am sure, to succeed at long last. To succeed and save time and space forever. Your moment is nigh. The moment of final failure or final triumph. I know what shall be. Your time has come. The Void is destruction. You are creation. The greater force that will best a lesser foe.
Past. Another in a long line of the Void's wretched victims.
Come what may, we'll avenge them all.
You're home. How long it's been? Centuries? Eons? Since you come to potions of great and incomparable strength, dear protector.